You are watching The Guy Dawson Show at the World Center of Broadcast Media, WCOBM.com. When we were off the air, I was in here talking about sex with Quan and our...
Sexy! You gotta pronounce it clearly.
I'm sorry, sexy.
Lawyer.
We were talking about
gosh.
sexiness. During the commercial break. Augusta, you've got some people you want to acknowledge. They helped you out with this awesome book.
I do. Thank you so much. And I think all of you are sexy in your own way, right?
All right,
Yeah,
sex
I'm
sells.
sexy over there. Someone say.
Oh, wow, we have someone on the chat line. Augusta, what should
Okay.
I do tomorrow if I'm thinking of starting my own business?
I think you should buy my book immediately. And help you in terms of, I kid you not, I'm being really serious. It's on Amazon. You should read it immediately if you're thinking about starting your own firm tomorrow. It will be, it's an easy read. But okay, all jokes aside though, the first thing I want you to do is to figure out really what kind of business you're trying to start, right? What kind of business are you trying to set up? Do you have the right funds? Do you have the right mindset for it? And then we could discuss what kind of business entity you should form. And then think about marketing, funding, which is something that, Guy is really good about. And I'm sure you could speak a little bit about that. But yes, buy my book too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Augusta, in this book, she talks about how to prepare yourself. And really, when you're getting involved in business, you can make mistakes that can be more expensive than others.
Absolutely.
And some of the mistakes that you can make will take a long time to recover from.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a mentor, Don Lehner, who I've gone over these things with for many, many years. And now I'm working with Augusta. I've just been so inundated with information about how important it is to set your business up correctly that it's just second nature to me. So I would recommend that is you want the structure of your business and the way that you've set it up to become almost second nature.
Absolutely.
To where you're thinking about it all the time at the very beginning, because it could potentially save you a lot of money on down the line in terms of lawsuits.
Absolutely.
And I mean, there are just so many things that you expose yourself to when you get involved in business.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for that question. I think that's a great question. I think we were going to do a quick shout out, so let me do it now. So I don't
lawyer up. Go.
don't
They can go to Amazon and buy this, can't
it
they?
is. It's now on Amazon. I am so
go to
excited.
Amazon and buy Lawyer
You
Up.
guys have no idea what it takes to be on Amazon. So finally have their stamp of approval.
It's not the easiest thing in the
It
world
is
to
not.
get. Didn't you do the same thing?
Yes,
Quan? Got your
I
book up
did
there?
my book.
It
oh my
is.
gosh, the
It is.
book conversion.
It is.
Oh, it's
yes.
killing your brain.
Yeah.
You have like cutting your toes to fit into the small shoes, right?
Yes.
Cut this toe, that toe, the still not fit in. You have to constantly make a change.
Yes.
I just.
Yes. So
So
Amazon.
congratulations.
Thank you.
It's such a long processing. and
Thank
it
you.
takes a lot of the strength from here to make
Yeah.
that completion finally.
Thank you so much. And to all these folks, Andrew Morgan, Dewumi Thomas, my mother. Thank you, Mom. Albert, Betsy, Amelia, Tonya, Angela Muna, Jermaine Patton, Gerald Ekbassett, Nikki Shelton, Auntie Roslyn, Stanley Kidiavai, Izawai Abby, big supporter from the beginning. My good friend from Nigeria, Bimbo Gundele, who blew me away. Favorite Chikalu, Jagdish Mehta, Dr. Jagdish Mehta, Uncle Patrick, Uncle Ben, Felix Ebase, Christina Njoku, and Stanley Wabudike. I think I got it all.
and a sexy guy, and a sexy guy.
And the sexy guy Dawson.
Oh, wow.
What?
It's moments like this that makes this all worthwhile.
Right.
性感 guy.
This is why you stay in business.
Yes. Yes, and so going back to what we're talking about, what it takes to stay in business, and I think we ended up with risk tolerance.
Yes.
It's a lot of risks to do your own business. So to the guest who talked about starting your own business, I think that's something else you also want to test yourself on. How risk averse are you? People make starting your own business seem so sexy, don't they? They make it seem so easy. It's the one thing you could do without asking for permission. You don't need any personal license, right? You need a state license, but you don't need any personal licenses, no essays, no online reviews. Right? Remember when you go for a job and you have to, put your resume in, and someone has to tell you if you're worthy for a business? You just, wake up one day and say, I think I have the answer to a need in the community, and this is how I feel I can service that, and this is how much I feel I should be paid for that. And we just kind of go, don't we? We don't really get any training. We don't really get any support sometimes, and I think that's why most businesses fail.
Yeah, well, they underestimate. I think most people get into business and they underestimate all that goes into it, because being an employee is a completely different mindset.
Absolutely.
The paycheck's there. You know, you show up for work. Next week, that Friday
Right,
comes, the
right.
paycheck is there. When you're an entrepreneur, it can be a very, very long time before you cash in a paycheck, and that, for a lot of people who are not are very risk averse. A lot of people get into business and they don't understand that concept. To me, that's been because I've been in business since I was a little kid. And one of the things that I've seen throughout my lifetime is people are not risk
Tolerant.
tolerant.
They just can't.
And they get into something that requires a great deal of risk tolerance, no matter how well you prepare for being in business. When you get out there and you have to sell something to someone else, you don't know if they're going to buy it or not until
Rejection.
they do it.
Right.
And so I think that goes along with definitely your risk tolerance. You won't be able to accurately measure that until you get out there and try to sell something to someone and they don't buy it from you right away.
Yes.
Yeah. Then how risk tolerant are you?
Right. And then
And
you
you
say,
put your money
like,
into
and
it,
time.
but the legal things are so important, and that's why I'm
I believe
such a
so.
big supporter of Augusta. And I know not
Appreciate
only is she good at what she does, but she also has a real heart for a lot of things, philanthropy and supporting small business people.
I do, and that's why we talked earlier about passion. It takes a lot of passion. You really have to love what you do. It takes a lot of passion and love for what you do to wake up in the morning, regardless of what is happening, regardless of what your bank account looks like, regardless of, people calling you on the phone and how painful the process might be, to just keep at it. It takes a lot of passion. And then there was one more thing I wanted to add was intuition. I think a lot of people don't realize how much intuition goes into being your own business owner. It's just that gut feeling that something is not right. It's the same gut feeling that tells you, I don't think I should work for somebody. I should be working for myself. It's that same gut feeling, but I think, somewhere along the line, you get discouraged, things don't work out the way you thought they would, and then you start to, ignore that voice, ignore that intuition. So I just wanted to, encourage, if you're doing your own business, to really key into that intuition as well.
I
Yeah.
would add one point. I think get to be prepared for the extra time and the available funds.
Yes.
Many people think usually like, oh, I have a 3 months time off or 6 months time off. Certain amount of money I could try to register business and get attorney consultation and this that get paid. Actually, once you get into any business, no matter how big, how small, the idea is to begin with, it costs so much extra, and the more extra time and the money all the time. So it's a mind game, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
You have to be really committed into what you passionate want to do to achieve, and keep on going.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's-
But when you have the
Reach
commitment, that's the good news. So I want to
Right.
give you some of the good news, because I don't
I
think
know,
I've,
right? We don't want to seem
I don't
like
think
it's
I've been
bad,
the most
it's bad.
flowery person during this interview today. I'm sorry if I offended some of you out there with some of the realities of business. But here's something that I think is very positive, is that once you have convinced yourself that this is what you want to do, being a business person gets pretty easy. Once
Yes.
you've gotten past that and
Yes.
you've brainwashed yourself into believing that you're going to stick with this, because you literally
You love
have to-
what you do.
there's a whole psychological thing that goes, and Kwan was just touching on it. And I think it's a huge point. When you've brainwashed yourself, then it's a joy.
Yes,
I mean,
it
I
is.
wouldn't trade it for
I wouldn't
anything.
either. I love what I do.
One more, we're gonna have to let you go, sexy attorney Augusta Massey. But before we go, how can they get in contact with you to learn more about your services?
All right, just www.masseylawvegas.com. MasseyLawVegas.com.
You might spell Massey Law.
MasseyLawVegas.com.
Augusta will be back soon. We have more sexiness and law and books and all kinds of things to talk about in the future.
How
Thank
unique,
you.
lawyer and sexy. Oh yeah, I like
Please
it.
stay tuned. We're going to be having Cindy Rodriguez. She is the publisher of Vegas Scene magazine in the studio in just a few minutes.